you're going to want to clean up your mess. When I take this piece that we had out earlier, we did the zipper stay. Now, I'm using a number 5 tape. We're going to place a piece of DST over top of that folded over edge, and I go right up to the edges of the stay. I'm going to remove one side and the other. Okay, we want our zipper pull on the left. We're going to center the pull in the window. Now I'm turning it sideways so that I can keep my head out of the camera. Alright, it probably looks crooked because the fabric wasn't really, this isn't really straight lines, it was kind of slanted, and so it may make the zipper look like it's crooked. Now, once you get your zipper secured, you're going to want to take your zipper pockets and secure them to that. So we're going to apply another piece of DST. This time we're going to go at the top edge of the zipper on the back side, of course. And then we're going to go on the bottom edge of the zipper. And what this is doing is I don't want to place it too close because I don't want the DST in the same spot. We just had it to secure the zipper to the stay. So we move it a little bit. And the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to place the bottom piece. So remove the bottom DST. And you're going to want, if you're using directional fabric, it's right side up in front of you, just going to flip it over and align that piece. Once you have your pocket secured, like it was like this, you're going to want to fold this down out of your zipper, out of the way of your zipper. You're going to flip it right side over. You're going to start your stitch line here, stitch down across the bottom edge, and back up the other side. Go over to the machine and do that right now. Now you're going to want to remove the DST from the top, and then you're going to place your pocket piece right sides together. When you go over to your machine, you're going to rotate it. You're going to start again in this corner, come down to the end, turn, stitch along the top edge, and end down here. And your stitches, these two, will be over top of one another. I'll do that and be right back. In regards to the pocket, the reason you always have two different sizes is because we'd have to have two different pattern pieces. So you can trim this off to equal the same length as this one or the same height. So when you sew this pocket together, it's fine. Or you can leave the extra so that when you do sew this, now this is going to be left open to pull the bag through. So I'm actually going to trim it. What I do on bags that I don't have to pull through the pocket is I fold this excess over and use it as a little extra assurance that this pocket won't get poked through. You know how everybody puts sharp objects in their pockets, and sometimes they cut the stitch lines and then their stuff falls to the bottom of the bag. So that is another method to closing up the zipper. But since we're going to be leaving this open to stitch the bottom of the bag, I'm going to go ahead and trim it off. Now what I do next is stitch the sides closed. When I go over to my machine, I have my pocket piece, but I loosen up the fabri-tac glue from the fabric, and we're okay because remember we already stitched around the zipper. So I'm going to loosen this up and I'm going to stitch this pocket closed. I'm going to stitch right over this stay and along with this zipper, so everything's kind of connected. And to me that just gives a little more structure and stability for that pocket when you're opening and closing it continually. There won't be any issues. So we're going to make sure that pocket's open. We're going to go over and we're going to do that for both sides. I'll loosen this up as well. And I'm going to stitch these sides at 1/4 inch. Okay, we have the sides all stitched up. And yeah, you can see there you can see the stitching. But I'll clean up those threads. We can trim this zipper end off just a little bit. Okay, next thing we're going to want to do is attach our top bodies to the interior main. So on this piece, go ahead and put the two pieces right sides together, clip into place. Then we have our second, let's at the bottom side, we have our second interior body and top band. Put that into place. Then we also have our interior sides and our interior top sides. So right sides together. Clip them all in place, take them over to your machine, stitch them at 3/8 inch. And then when we open, after you've stitched, because you're going to stay at your machine, you're going to open this up, but this vinyl will lay flat and the fabric will be folded over, and then you will top stitch this at 1/8 inch. So I'm going to go do that. I will be right back. Okay, we kind of did a chain stitch and stitched, but as you can see, I have them top stitched, and as you can see, the vinyl is laying flat, that's folded over and top stitched. So let me put the sides here, and here's the body pieces, and we're going to follow the same as we did for the exterior. We're going to put our interior sides to our body, and we're going to align the top edge of this and clip there first. And again, we're going to stop 3/8. Oh, here's the second side. And if you're really good, you can literally put your body right side together with the rest of it and clip this as well, making sure that these top edges are aligned again. Set that piece more straight. Align that top edge right there. Clip. Now I'm going to take this over to the machine, stitch, and be right back. First I'm going to do these, stopping 3/8 inch from the bottom. Then I'm going to do these. And we are going to attach the interior bottom the same way that we did the exterior bottom. The only thing is on one of these long edges, we are not going to stitch it completely closed. We're actually going to leave it open. That way we can turn the bag through the bottom, and then we sew the bottom shut through the pocket, and then sew the pocket shut. So again, matching the center points there. We're going to clip this end. As I said, you can fold that out of the way. So I'm going to stitch these ends first. Then I'm going to stitch one complete long end, and then on the other one, which is going to be, so the body that has the zipper pocket, we are going to stitch from one end to the other. The body that has no zipper pocket, we're going to stitch about 1.5 inches from here to here, and we're going to stop. And then we're going to do it on this end as well. That way then we have an opening to turn. We are going to clip it. I didn't do this with the exterior because it's vinyl, but I will stitch this and be right back. On this long edge where you wanted a short seam here and short seam here, what I did is I increased my stitch length to the max, and I did a base stitch to kind of hold everything in place. So again, that base stitch to open up that, so for turning, will be on the side that doesn't have a pocket. Now, you can then at this time also trim your corners. And then you're going to want to get your exterior portion, and we're going to turn this right side out. What I do is I kind of grab the bottom in the corner. Just give it like a pinch, hold on to it, and pull it up through. Now when turning, you want to try not to stretch the vinyl. Let's see if I can do this in camera. You're going to turn this out, right side out. You're going to want to tuck this inside of the lining. So the right side of your lining is to the right side of your tote, the exterior. Now yes, you are sticking something bigger inside of something smaller, but that's okay. You also want to make sure your straps are tucked in between the layers as well. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to nest these seams. What I mean by nest is if you fold, keep the vinyl straight, make sure the fabric is folded on this piece. Then I'm going to, so the vinyl is pointing to my left, and on this one I want my vinyl pointing to the right, the whole seam. And then I'm just going to place them together so they nest. See how that is? And then I'm going to start clipping the bag. You can use as many or as few clips as you want. And it's really not important that you get everything pushed out on the exterior. What I'm doing right now is I'm kind of pushing the corners back up inside so that it's going to be easier for me to align the top edge. It gives me that little bit of extra wiggle room that I'm going to need. So again, now I'm still on the side. This vinyl piece now is pointing to my right, and these vinyls are going to the left, and then I am just nesting those seams together. And once I get the seams nested, then I'm going to go back, and we're just a little bit too long again. See, I just pulled that up the inside. That way then it's going to be easier for me to match this top edge. Now on these seams, I'm going to put a couple clips. I'm going to put one on each side so it really holds it in place. And then, again, just pulling this bottom corner up in so that I can get these to match. One other thing you want to make sure is that your straps are straight. So when you're clipping, I am just placing a clip on each side of the strap. Okay. Now, I'm not remembering if I addressed this extra height on the straps. If you are making your bag for yourself and you know how much you're going to carry, your straps may be just fine, just stitched and then top stitched along this top edge. But if you feel that you need extra support, when you turn this bag right side out, these straps are going to be down, and then we can place rivets on the exterior. So on this bag, the strap is down in here, and I can actually place a rivet through here to give it a little bit extra stability. Since I've used Decaville Light and foam in my body, I feel that there's enough stabilizer here that the rivets will not pull out. So now that this is all clipped, we're going to go over and stitch this at 3/8 inch seam allowance. I'm going to open this up. Okay, all stitched. Let's turn this inside or right side out. There's some loose strings. One thing that's great for corners is a chopstick. You can either use, you don't want to over poke, because then you get a funky shape. But as I turn this, when I kind of pinch this seam allowance, my garbage can. Try to keep my mess cleaned up as I go. I didn't do a good job this time. Okay. And then here is the top edge. Now this fabric tended to fray a little bit, so I'm going to have probably some strings, loose strings here and there. I'm going to try to get rid of them when I see them. All right. So as I go along, I'm going to clip this top edge. And again, how many, how little, however many you want to use. Whatever you are comfortable with. Now, it's a little bulky here where we've nested those seams. So I am going to trim away some of the excess. And I'll go back and get that first one. Top stitch. Just going to do a quick dry fit. I haven't pressed anything. I have a tendency to forget that step, but I ordered a ham, a pressing ham, so that I can do that. Why do I feel a bubble? Oh, that's the pocket. All right. To me, it looks like it's going to be pretty good. I would get these seams all pressed down and flattened. That will look good. And I'm going to take this over to the machine and top stitch. Okay, the bag is all top stitched. I leave long thread tails because the back is a vinyl, and I'm going to tuck those in out of the way. So for the next step, you're going to want to close this hole here in the bottom. So in order to do that, you're going to open your zipper. You're going to pull this section up through your zipper hole. You're going to clip it. Then you're going to finish stitching it. And then once you have that stitched, then you'll do the same for your zipper pocket. Okay, the bottom's all stitched up. We're going to get it tucked down inside. We're going to pull the zipper pocket up through the hole, and we're just going to fold. For me, I fold and clip one side, and then I can add the second side. That's one side. I'm folding over about 3/8 of an inch. To a 1/2 inch. All right, and now I'm going to stitch this, keeping these two pieces folded together, keeping those aligned, and I'm going to stitch it about 1/8 of an inch away from the edge. Okay, let's clip these strings. Tuck that pocket down inside. Zip this back up. Then I'm going to give it a good press. And your Senza tote is complete. I really hope that you enjoyed this pattern, and stay tuned for more changes to this design.